We might have just found out that Scream 6 is going to be taking place on Halloween. Let's get into this.
What's your favorite scary movie? Hey, man.
We'll tear your soul apart.
Well, Pennywise the ends you now.
We're gonna get you. Oh, Lord on the beast!
God, don't do that.
But sometimes death is better.
Hey everybody, what's up? KillJoy Jake here, and instead of having friends, I have horror movies. Today we're talking a little bit about Scream 6, talking a little bit about some rumored cast members, and also, dude, we just figured out that this movie's going to be taking place on Halloween. We're gonna get into all of that in just a second here, but first, I'm gonna need y'all to like this video and subscribe for more horror content. So getting into this, my friend on Twitter, Kay, you can follow her at Top Girl Cassidy over there. I highly recommend following her. She gives some amazing updates. Make sure to go check out her page over on Twitter. She just recently noticed that on Instagram, Tyler Gillette has followed a few actors and actresses, which is very interesting because one of them also posted about traveling somewhere a couple of days ago. I touched briefly on this in my last Scream update, but there's actually even more people now who are rumored to be in Scream 6, and once again, I want to make it very clear, that is a big ol' nasty rumor, so don't be taking this as fact just yet, but it could be announced at some point in the future that these people are playing characters in the film. They also match the age range of characters we would need for this next movie, so honestly, I could see it happening. We have Liana Liberato, who is in this movie called The Beach House, which I watched the first 10 minutes of last night, but I fell asleep, unfortunately. Your boy's tired. I'm trying to run a YouTube channel and make a 90-minute movie all at the same time, so I really just don't have any time for myself, unfortunately. But this movie does look pretty good. It's very promising so far. It's got a really high score on Rotten Tomatoes, and the premise just sounds fucking awesome. So I'm really excited to get into that. She's the star of it, so she's no stranger to horror. I could see her being in this film. She's also age 26, so it makes sense if she was like one of Sam's friends. And maybe even the killer, perhaps? Gasp! We also have Humberly Gonzalez, who was in this film called Nobody from 2021 that starred Bob Odenkirk and Christopher Lloyd, which I still haven't seen, but I remember seeing all the trailers and it looked super like goofy and John Wicky, totally up my alley. I can't believe I missed that one. Gonna have to check that one out soon. Humberly Gonzalez played a role in that, and now she's rumored to maybe be in this film as well. She's also followed by Tyler Gillette. I don't know. I mean, it could be the case. And then we also have Jack Champion, a 17-year-old kid actor who is also going to be in the new Avatar movies. I could see Jack possibly playing like one of Tara's friends or something along those lines. He matches the age for that. I mean, if he was like 2 years older, it would make a little more sense, but I could see it happening. I mean, there you go. I'm not going to spend too much time speculating on these people. Once again, this is just rumored, so I mean, like in a week, all this news could be obsolete, so I'm really not going to go off on a whole tangent about like, oh, they could be playing these characters when this might have just been like a weird coincidence kind of thing. Now, something that's not a rumor is this picture right here. Now, you might be wondering to yourself, Jake, that looks like something from the set of like Halloween Ends or something. Why is this in a Scream 6 update? Well, guess what? That's apparently one of the sets on Scream 6. Craven Something Scary, one of my Lethal Collective brothers and just a great friend of mine, recently broke the news. Apparently his friend Chris lives in Montreal and got to take one of these pictures. Apparently this is going to be like Gail Weathers' house and there's a jack-o'-lantern outside. Now, although that little part is true, this is a set that they're working on in Montreal, Canada. So the fact that there's a jack-o'-lantern on there basically confirms, or well, soft confirms, that this film is going to be taking place sometime around Halloween. Which, holy shit, that would be awesome. Oh my god, could you imagine a Scream film set on Halloween in New York City? I mean, does it get crazier than that? I think not. This is so exciting. Oh my, I mean, like, listen, I've been wanting something different from Scream for a while. If you've watched any of my videos, you've heard me say that. This is shaping up to be that. I mean, I was so scared for the longest time that Scream 6 was just gonna be Scream 2, but like modern day, we're gonna have Richie's mother come out, start stabbing people and look all goofy like Laurie Metcalf in that original second film. But no, now it looks like we're doing something different. We're gonna have maybe like Gail Weathers get attacked at her home on Halloween night, something along those lines. I mean, there's so many different avenues that they could go with a New York setting that really just changes up the formula. You have so many new opportunities for kills too. I mean, think about like, what if Ghostface pushes somebody out of like a fucking window or something and they just like fall onto like a street post thing and like impale themselves? Like, they could do that. That is a possibility right now. And I know that's insane. You're like, that would never happen in a Scream film. It could happen in this one. It could happen in this one. And one more thing I want to say is like, yes, I want the brutality factor to be a little higher in Scream because I've always felt like they could push that envelope a little further. but there definitely is a point where that envelope is gonna fall off the fucking table and no one's gonna give a shit because it's too brutal. I think there's a middle ground that Scream can find that can like up the brutality a little bit, but not be as brutal as something like Evil Dead 2013, where you have a character getting a crowbar through the fucking hand. Like that, okay, that's a little much, but come on, it's pushing somebody out of a window, getting impaled on a cornered sign, street post, lamp thing, whatever. That would be pretty cool, I think. I don't think that's too crazy to suggest. I just want a chase scene through an alleyway and a chase scene through a high-rise building. I mean, listen, I will be satisfied at that. But on top of that, we also have this Halloween setting, so we can have people in like crazy costumes. Maybe the third act is at a costume party filled with people, like a whole bunch of different like references to other horror movies. This would be the franchise to do that. Another thing to think about is think about how many people are gonna dress up as Ghostface in New York City. So you're gonna have a sequence probably where maybe Sam's running around looking for Tara, maybe she's lost or something and she's just looking around and it's Halloween night. There's fucking ghost faces everywhere with like the green stab masks and she's just terrified. Maybe she's having like an episode or something because she's just seeing ghost faces everywhere. That could be so fucked up and psychologically terrifying. A few more things is that if this film is taking place on Halloween, maybe they're finally going to cash in on the fact that they can make fun of all the new Halloween films. I mean, come on. Like, how did they not do that in the last movie? They kind of briefly touched on like, oh yeah, you know, requels, oh, you like A24 films, well, I like stab movies. They briefly touched on that. Honestly, I feel like all of Scream 5 should have been about the fact that there's kind of this division in the horror world right now where it's like some people really love the new take on horror from like A24, Neon, like those companies that are pumping out like more like sophisticated, elevated horror, which I don't love that term, but that's kind of what they're called because they like implement some more social commentary than usual into their horror movies. I really like those personally, but there is that divide. There's people who are longing for the 80s slashers that was just like bloody and brutal and crazy. I think right now in the horror space, we're getting a bit of both, which is awesome, but there is that division still. There is people complaining about those new movies. That would have been something great to have commented on in the last film. I mean, you could have a whole film that's basically critiquing those new Halloween films and those requels for like what they did, because like there's a lot of positives, there's also a lot of negatives. There's things that people really like about them, there's things that people are really complaining about and wish they had done differently. So let's make fun of that and Scream. This has always been the franchise to do that. That's why I think you don't really ever have to kill this franchise. There's always going to be something to comment on in the horror space. You can make Screams forever, man. So let's do a little bit of course correcting and let's make fun of the new Halloween films. And then maybe we can talk about A24 and that whole divide I was talking about in a future film, because there's so much to comment on. Instead of commenting on the Star Wars sequel trilogy, which just, it doesn't fit Scream. It's cool that they like widened their range of like what they were going to comment on. Okay, I applaud that. That's different, but it just doesn't fit in with this franchise. It feels weird that they would really comment on that and not everything going on in the horror space. It's just strange to me that they would comment on Star Wars when there's so much going on in the horror space right now. I mean, there is so many different subgenres that are really popular right now. Why did they not comment on that? They have to do that in this next film. Scream 6, in my opinion, is getting too big to fail. I think they have too many cards to play right now to where it could be a bad movie. I really think that this is all positive news. I'm super excited for it. I have so many theories that I'm going to be coming up with sometime in the future. But what do you guys think about all this news? Are you excited for a Halloween setting in New York fucking City? Leave me something about it in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching this new Scream 6 update. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more horror content. Also, if you want to support this channel further, please become a Patreon supporter or a channel member today by clicking on that join button on my page. Thank you guys so much for watching again, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.